day, everyone. We're back to our beginner series. This is class number 4 of 8. Have a bolster with you, have a couple of blocks with you. We will start in a standing position today. So coming up to a standing position at the top of your mat, Tadasana. We worked through this before, so feet are hip distance apart, arms are relaxed by the sides, and we start to tune in to the balance of our hips and our shoulders. So for today, because we'll be working quite a bit through the hips, let's bring one hand to the low back sacral area and one hand toward the front of the hips or the pelvis. And just start to notice what's going on here. How neutral do your hips feel? Can you draw the navel in and feel the pressure go downwards through your heels? Can you feel a gentle lift up through the navel, just a tiny one, and a drawing back, securing the abdominals in place? Lengthen up through your spine, release the hands. Once you've found that balance, hands are by the sides. Notice how your shoulders feel. Breathe all the way in and all the way out. Remember to keep your breath moving in and out of the nose while you maintain this beautiful stability in your hips, in the balance across your shoulders, and in the lengthening of your spine. And just close your eyes for a moment. Feel yourself in the most optimal alignment that you can discover today, whatever that means for you and your body today. Take a moment and set an intention for your practice today. And let's have a collective intention today of very simply staying focused on the task at hand and being mindful of the breath. Let's take a full inhale and a full exhale. And gently blink open through the eyes. Awesome. So I just need to check a little something on my notifications here from Facebook. Sometimes they stop the video mid stream, you know what I mean? So yeah, but it looks like we're good. Okay, so we're still standing in our Tadasana. Hips are still nice and neutral. You can feel all of that beautiful space. So breathe all the way in. And then breathing out, just very lightly step your right foot back and let the heel land down. So your toes will be out and your heel will land down, lightly in line with your left heel, or even a little wider is totally fine. Okay, so we just look like this. The left knee is bent to a degree. Again, we didn't take a big step. I just want you to notice now how your hips shifted, right? They started opening to the left, or to the right rather. Okay, so we'll work with that. Look back forward, step your right foot forward. Good. We're doing the same side. So when you're ready, draw your belly in. Make sure your pelvis and shoulders are nice and neutral. And then on exhale, step your right foot back a little wider and open your chest a little more to the right. Open the arms out. This is warrior 2. So we still want to think about shoulders stacked above the hips, but now our hips are facing a different direction. Right? Our back toes are facing maybe all the way to the right. You might have the toes edging a little bit more forward on a 45-degree angle, but for right now, don't even worry about it. And then we have our arms out to the sides at shoulder height with the palms face down, and we gaze over the left hand. We want to avoid reaching forwards. That's not what we're going for. Again, the shoulders are stacked above the hips. Look forwards, relax the arms, step back forward. Breathe in and breathe out. Enjoy your Tadasana. Good. One more time, same side. So from your Tadasana, remember your core is nice and engaged. And then we step the right foot back, take a nice step so you open your hips, you open your chest over to the right. This time we'll really pay a bit more attention in toward the soles of the feet. So we want to make sure that we feel them rooting down, but the arches are finding some lift. We want to have our left knee stacked above our left ankle, front knee above front ankle. And then we should be able to see the first few toes, generally speaking, from the inside of the knee. Now these are just little cues, but everybody has a different shape, a different bone structure, so it's going to look different for you than it is for me, right? Our back leg, we want to feel some strength through that quadriceps so we can actively extend and feel pressure down into the outer edge of the foot and the big toe as well. So really find the balance there through your feet. And like I had mentioned, toes could point more to the right, or if you can, even edge them slightly more on a 45-degree angle between the front and the side of the mat. The arms lengthen out, the shoulders stay stacked above the hips. This helps us to breathe better because our spine is aligned, right? And then also we get that nice shoulder work. You can practice flipping the palms upwards to make sure that your shoulder blades stay nice and neutral on the back rather than squeezing together too much. You can also draw the thumbs to the wall behind you and feel that nice stretch through the biceps before bringing the palms to face down again. Yes. So this is Virabhadasana 2, Warrior 2, as you gaze over the front hand, looking forward. So that's a big hold, yeah? Look forwards, relax through the arms, and step forward. Beautiful. Relax the hands down, give your legs a little shake. Starting nice and slow, but we're working on still maintaining that basic Tadasana structure, that alignment of hips over heels, shoulders over hips. When you're ready, just nice and easy, step your left foot back, just a short little step, and let your right knee bend. And just start to notice the path of your own movement. So again, remember that it's going to look different for each of us. We're just talking about getting into shapes and seeing what suits us. Step back forward. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Step the left foot back again, but a little longer. We're bending into the right knee a bit deeper. We've got the hips open and the chest opening to the left. Let's extend the arms out wide. Practice shoulders above hips without reaching your right hand forward. Just look forwards. And just settle into this space. We want to feel like our tailbone is almost just a little bit heavy, but you don't need to pull your pelvis in. We want to feel neutral. You can find a tiny lift of your pelvic floor if that works for you today, and you'll find some strengthening through the outer right leg and into that left quadricep. Relax your hands, look forward, step forward. Maybe shake out your legs. So a lot of this stuff is really simple once we get past the part of our brain that wants us to do things perfectly all the time. We need to reframe that and recognize that we're moving in a space that's ideal or perfect for us that day. And it's always going to look different, and there is no point to compare to others, right? We can get a general idea of how a pose is aiming to look, but we don't want to box ourselves into having a pose only look a certain way, because we do all have different bodies. So when you're ready, left foot steps back again, nice and large. So now we're wider. So, if you need to have your left foot step wider, then that's your awesome Warrior 2 today. Maybe you have heel-to-heel alignment. See what works. There's not a right or a wrong in the sense of what's better is what's better for you today. Right? You're not wrong if your foot is wider. You're not wrong if your heel and your two heels line up. But if it makes you really uncomfortable and puts you in a place of like excruciating pain, that's probably not the direction, right? So we don't want to push into pain. We want to use pain as a marker of awareness. We can learn from it, but we don't push into it. We learn to be with it. Shoulders are stacked above the hips. Avoid that leaning forwards. Instead, settle. Take a gaze forward. Can you see your first few toes on your right foot? Can you perhaps flex in through that left quad a little bit more? Maybe not too much, just enough, just enough. Maybe your palms flip upwards, maybe your thumbs can draw to the wall behind you slightly. Try not to puff out your chest, keep yourself contained. Palms flip to face down, gaze over your front hand. Breath is in and out of the nose. We find our ujjayi breathing. If you remember from the week before, we breathe in through nose, out through nose with a gentle constriction through the back of the throat. When you're ready, hands relax, step back, forward. Give your legs a shake. Good. Okay, so from the top of the mat, your feet are hip distance apart. Just nice and gently hinge at the hips, coming forward with the fingertips down to the mat. So if your knees need to be bent here, then let the knees be bent. The navel draws up and in, your fingertips stay down. So with the fingertips down, right foot steps back, the heel lands down. So think of the warrior stance, but this time we're keeping our hips neutral. So try not to open your hips to the right. But the toes will still be rotated out, okay? It's tricky. And then just step the right foot back forwards. And then step the right foot back again. Keep the front of the hip facing forward and down. You'll find more strength move in through the right quadricep. Imagine you can strengthen more here as you push down through the right heel and your belly pulls in at the same time. This is going to create lots of strength and then you step forwards. Good. So one more time and we'll do this one a little bit differently. So without landing your right heel, just step the right toes back so the ball of your foot's on the mat. And then without opening your right hip, spin your right heel down and your toes out and land them down. Breathe in, breathe out. Core your belly in, and next inhale, the hands sweep up. This is our warrior one. So the hips and the shoulders are aligned, but the hips face forwards. We draw the navel in to keep shoulders above hips, and we bend into our front knee. Notice we don't need to have a big, long stance here. It makes it much more accessible to start small. We want to keep the ribs contained. The hands can come together overhead with the biceps around the ears, or arms can stay wide. Feel your way into it. Now from here, hands down, heart center, relax hands, step forward. Breathe in. And then breathe out nice and gently, hinge at the hips, bring your fingertips back down. Remember, knees can bend as much as you need. Left foot steps back, land the heel down, toes point out to the left. Gentle bend in the right knee, we're taking our time and we're not pushing too deeply. Make sure that your hips are facing forwards. It takes us a bit to get there. So work your right hip back, left hip forwards. Just feel that little sensation of shift inside. And then when you're ready, step left foot forward. Breathe in. And when you're ready, left foot steps back again. Maybe a tiny bit longer, but that doesn't really matter at all. Just working the neutral hips is what we need to get into here. So feel your left hip slide a little bit forwards. Yeah. And then when you're ready, step the left foot forward again. Beautiful. So we'll do it one more time, but this time we land just the toes down to start. So when you're ready, left foot steps back, toes come down. Draw your belly up and in, and then spin your left heel down to land it on the mat with your hips still facing forwards. Hands reach forward as we push into the front heel, and then we sweep the hands up. So again, stacking shoulders above the hips. The hips face forward. We contain the ribs. We breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. And if this feels really challenging, it should. It's a challenging pose. There's a lot of strength required to be here. From here, hands down through heart center and step forwards. Relax the hands, shake it out. So we'll give ourselves a little reset with a basic sun salutation, which we went through last week. So remember, you can do whatever version suits you best. I'm going to go knees, chest, and chin today, just so you're reminded again that going slower is awesome. Yeah, you don't always need to push. Feet at the top of the mat. Hands circle out and up. We breathe in, we breathe out. Hands down through heart center. Hinge at hips, fold forward. Fingertips find the ground. We gaze forward, straight arms. Breathing in, hands could be on the shins. And then breathing out, we plant the palms, walk the feet back. Find plank pose. Remember the sweet spot. One straight line between shoulders and heels. And then we lower the knees, lower the chest and the chin. Let the hips come down, untuck toes. Bhujangasana, cobra pose as we inhale. And then as you exhale, just keep pushing back. Bum comes back, toes tuck, knees and hips up. We're in downward dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Find that beautiful squeeze of your arms. Let your knees bend as you need. And look forward when you're ready. Walk the feet up to the hands. Gaze forward in your flat back. Remember, hands can come on shins. And then stand all the way up. Beautiful. Nice and tall here in our Tadasana or mountain pose. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and out. Awesome. Okay, so we'll put things together a little bit in a flow. Do your best, forget the rest. Inhale, circle the hands out and up. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at the hips. Fingertips come down to the mat. Inhale, flat back, look forwards. Exhale, plant your palms, walk back, plank. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. Lower the hips, inhale to your cobra. And then exhale, push back. Nice and easy, down dog. Looking to your feet, make sure they're about hip distance apart. Now spin your left toes out and your left heel in. Look to your hands and step the right foot to the hands. So you have a warrior stance happening here. Good. Now we'll open into warrior two. Both hands sweep up, left hand circles back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now we'll move to warrior one. So the left hand sweeps forwards. You might need to slide your back foot in a bit so you feel that full rotation of your hips. Left hip forward, right hip slightly back, still containing the core. Remember, hands can be open. Breathing in and breathing out. Contain the right hip. Make sure it's not pushing out to the right. This is a very common mistake in beginners, so we want to avoid pushing out to the side. Keep everything nice and tucked in. And then from here, exhale, bring your hands forward and down to the mat. And then step the feet back, plank. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push up. Come all the way back, downward dog. Ujjayi breathing. Use your breath. Slow building of challenging movements. Building up the cardio. Be where you can. Take breaks whenever you need. Feet are hip distance apart. Right toes spin out on a 45. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Right hand sweeps up and back, warrior two. Both arms are nice and parallel with the floor. Shoulders stacked above the hips. Notice how you feel here. Good. Moving into Warrior One. Remember, you might want to slide your back foot in. Feel the hips shift so they face forwards. Sweep the hands up. Contain the front ribs. This stuff takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. So give yourself beautiful graciousness. Yeah, be where you need to be. Feel the strength that this posture allows us to embrace. And then exhale, because now it's over. Hands come all the way down. Walk yourself back, plank. Lower the knees down. Chest and chin come down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push back. Downward dog. So when you start to feel hot and you start to feel challenged and you start to feel like you can't do it, those are your cues to get into the breathing. You breathe in and you breathe out. Gentle constriction of back of the throat. The breath moves in and out of the nose. If you find you are particularly distracted by your mind or your environment or whatever it may be, say to yourself, every single inhale, say it in your mind, I am inhaling. And every single exhale, I am exhaling. Look forwards and walk the feet up to the hands. Take your time. Gaze forward and a flat back, fingertips on the mat or on your shins. And then on an exhale, let your knees bend so your belly touches your thighs and grab onto opposite elbows. Let your upper body get heavy. If it feels good for you, you could release your hands to bring them behind your back, interlace the fingers, and reach the knuckles toward the ceiling. Practice pulling your chest away from the floor. Breathe in and breathe out. Good, and then gently release your hands all the way down to the mat. Gaze forward, flat back. Take the weight more into your heels. And then press up, straight spine, all the way up to stand. If you find that you get dizzy going up and down like that, just bring a palm to the forehead. Breathe in and breathe out deeply. You could always have a hand on the wall. Practice near a wall. Make sure that you can stabilize. It gets better with time. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so one more warrior to work on. Let's step into the middle of our mat, working into warrior 3. So there are a bunch of variations of this pose that you can do, but we'll start nice and easy, just like everything else we've been doing. So bring the hands to your hips, and then find a place of focus on the floor, and slowly start to hinge your weight forwards and take the right heel back at the same time, just like you're kind of tipping over. And then bring yourself back up to stand. Okay, so that's the mechanism we're working on today. You can tip over to the point that suits you. So that might look more like this today. That's okay. You don't need to get yourself completely parallel to the mat today. One day, maybe, but that can arrive when it arrives. Okay? So we'll try a couple more times. You can keep your hands on your hips for this one, or you can bring hands into prayer in front of the heart. Hinging forwards, right leg back as the heart comes forward, so find your balance. Left leg stays long. This is working the balance. So that left leg needs to stay strong. Yes, and then come all the way back up. And then let your hands relax if they were in prayer. Whichever hand position you like, but this time, if it's available, we're practicing reaching the fingers back as we tilt forward. This can be really helpful with balance, so I often suggest it as part of the beginner practices for Warrior 3. So remember, You're stopping at your edge. Breathe in. Hands are by the sides. Breathe out. Start to hinge forward. Right leg goes back. Fingers are reaching back, and find your space where you can perhaps have your torso and the right leg be parallel with the mat. Breathe in, breathe out. Strong, steady, focused. And then inhale yourself back up. Right foot lands, shake it out. So something to be mindful of here too is to not dump your weight in that hip, just like we talked about in the other warrior postures. We don't want to be dumping all our weight down and doing this kind of thing, okay? We're working the mechanism of movement and function through the hip sockets, not putting pressure on them. So we want to have a nice, smooth shift, and that might, again, be to here, or here, or here, whatever, but don't dump your weight. Let's do the other side. Right leg stays planted, hands on the hips. Find your focus on the floor ahead of you. Breathing in. And then breathing out, keep that navel contained into the abdomen and start to shift your heart forward and your left leg back. Just find your edge, whatever it is on this first round. Stay strong. Keep breathing. Find your balance. And then come all the way up. And if balance is really tricky for you today, you could do this beside a wall, right? So the hand, or whichever leg you're balancing on, have that hand there. So then we would hinge forwards again. You can be here, right? You can practice having that stability, especially if you're a person that's dumping your weight. Having that stability and support there will help you contain everything in. When you're ready, come back up, nice and neutral. And then we'll go into our final variation, and that is we can have our hands reaching back. So rooting into the right leg and hinging the upper body forwards. Fingers reach back, and then you find your warrior 3. Hold the belly in. And you may find that, oh, you fell forwards and your fingertips come down. Great. Practice getting them back up. You're all wibbly wobbly, you fall again. Great. Practice getting back up. Build that strength. It just gets better with practice. And then when you're ready, left foot comes forwards and down, shake it out. All right. That's almost all of our hard work today. We'll do one more easy flow to just shake this stuff out, and then we'll do some stuff on the ground. So at the top of the mat, feet hip distance apart, arms circle out to sides, up to ceiling. And we fold forward as hands come down through heart center. We hinge at the hips, keep the balance through each side. Fingertips find the ground. Let's gaze forward, flat back. And then plant the palms, walk the feet back, plank, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Breathe in, breathe out. And then gently, as you exhale, lower your knees down, take them a little wider than your hips, big toes touch, bum to the heels, child's pose. Stack your hands, let your forehead rest. And then nice and slowly press yourself up into a seat. Let's sweep the feet off to one side, and then we want to grab our bolster. So with the bolster today, let's start with it widthwise on the mat. And we want this bolster to support our upper back. And I should say, you might want your blanket too. Because sometimes it might feel like your neck needs more support. So you could just set your blanket there in case you need to drag it in. Okay. So also, please have a block handy. You just need one for now, so just make sure it's handy. And then start to lay yourself on the bolster. Again, we want this just supporting the upper back. Bring your hands behind your skull, drawing length through the back of your neck, and then let your head come down. So we want to feel like our neck is super long. It's almost a sensation like we're bringing the chin into the chest, but we're not. It's just enough to feel the lengthening. Your arms, see what works for you. You could have them overhead, you could have them kind of out to the sides, on the bolsters, off the bolsters, whatever you like. Knees are bent. And then reach for your block and place it on your low belly. Make sure it can stay balanced. And then just nice and easy, we'll practice breathing into the belly. Feeling the pressure of the abdomen into the block on the inhale and exhale. Breath moves in and out of the nose. And we don't need to work on the ujjayi breathing anymore, so no need to constrain the back of the throat on the exhales. Instead, stay nice and open through inhales and exhales, and instead now work balanced breathing. So maybe that's to the count of 4, but you inhale to that count of 4, and then you exhale to that count of 4. So inhales and exhales are of the same length. Honor what pace suits you best and just breathe. Make sure you can feel the movement of that block though, every inhale and exhale. Good. Notice how much more feedback you get from just having the block on the belly. Makes it much more accessible to get those full and complete balanced breaths. So now just gently remove the block. We're staying on the bolster like this. Just shimmy your hips a bit to the left so it's easy to now roll onto the right side of your body. So you can have your right elbow bent, so you can just rest your head in your hand, and we still feel the pressure of the bolster into the outer right rib. And just breathe here. You won't be here for long. If your hips feel like they need support, you can grab your block and put it between your knees. That can feel really supportive and just overall nice to sit or settle in and practice the breath. Still working on the balanced breathing. And as you notice little sticky areas, just notice them and practice breathing there. If you feel really stuck and sticky in the lungs, Focus on your exhales even more. So try to lengthen your exhales and even hold them. Actively squeeze everything out. And then bring your inhale in slowly and gradually through the nose. And see if you can enter into any of those places that were once sticky and stuck. It's amazing what will open up in the body when you stop analyzing with the mind. The body wants us to listen and to feel. Beautiful. Now from here, just nice and easy, roll onto your back. If you have the block between your knees, you might even be able to just keep it there as you shimmy your hips over to the opposite side. So now you can lay on your outer left hip. The bolster is still supporting your outer left ribs now. And then left elbow on the mat, hand as a pillow, and just hang out here. Feel your lungs get wide. Notice that sense of being awake and energized and yet relaxed at the same time. And then nice and easy when you're ready. Come back onto your back without dropping your head. Set the block aside. Bring your hips to neutral. And then just shimmy yourself down onto the mat nice and flat. Slide your bolster away. Shoulder blades get nice and flat. Make sure your neck feels long. And then lengthen your right leg down. Make sure your hips feel neutral here. And then lengthen your left leg down. Letting everything settle into the mat. Arms relax out to the sides. Palms face up. And we practice being here now. If you notice your mind gets distracted, once again, bring your attention to the breath. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And continue to follow that. Maintain your focus. And allow the breath to move through you like waves crash over the shore. That gentle pull in of the breath, just like the water coming over the beach. And that gentle push out as the water recedes back and we release the breath. nice full breath all the way in and all the way out. Gently bend one knee at a time and bring them into the chest for a nice hug. And then roll to one side or rock yourself up into a seated position. Maybe your palms on your thighs, maybe your palms in front of the heart in Ujjayi Mudra. And let's just take a complete breath in and a complete breath out. And thank you for joining me today on this lovely beginner series. I hope you had a great time and that you feel wonderfully relaxed. Yeah? And this takes practice, right? Do these classes again and again and again to help build your confidence in these very important fundamentals of your movement practice and your breath practice and your meditative practice. It's all in one. How amazing is that? Much love, everyone. See you again soon.